and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live, you know the drill. You can always leave a comment in the comment section down below. Free to do that at any time. Also, feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, and share the video on all social media platforms. I found an article earlier today that I found interesting, so I thought I would share it. CBS Sports has their top 25 poll for college football. Hey there, Desiree. Glad to have you back in the comment section. Hopefully life is great out in the big state of Utah. And CBS took their top 25 teams and they've given the best and worst case scenario for each team as far as their best possible record and their worst possible record. So I figured I would share that. So we'll do all 25 teams. Now, for some of the teams, the difference is, 4 games. But for some of the teams, the difference in worst case scenario is only a couple of games. Number one team, according to CBS, is Ohio State. CBS says their best possible record is 12-0, but their worst record is 9-3. And when I did my over-unders last week, if memory serves, Ohio State is picked to win 9.5 games, so that 9-3 worst case scenario is about right at what their over-under is. I think a couple things that hold Ohio State back, of course, being ranked number one, of course, they're still picked to be really good, but they used to always have really great coordinators on both sides of the ball, but their coordinators now have either gone on to be head coaches or they've left to go to other schools. So now they no longer have the great named coordinators that they always had. And they always had the best talent in the Big Ten. But now with the NIL and, money being dished out so evenly, you can't afford to pay 50, 5-star players that kind of money. The Buckeyes don't have the talent they once had. Still really good. And I think also a lot of people are no longer sold on Julian Sayin, and he just hasn't shown how great he can be. And Julian Sayin was great last year, but he wasn't good enough to win a national championship. If he improves some, maybe. But if Julian Sayin comes back and he's the same quarterback as last year, they're not good enough to win a national championship. Number 2 is Texas. 12-0, of course, is their best possible record. 8-4 is the worst. Same way with Georgia. Georgia's 12-0, best case scenario. 8-4, worst case scenario. And then we got Notre Dame. They've got them 12-0 and 9-3. Then we got Oregon. They're 11-1, and their worst case is 8-4. And that's shocking because you never see Oregon pick to only win 8 games. And then number 6, we have Texas A&M. Now, CBS has them picked 6th right now in the way too early poll. I don't think Texas A&M is a top 10 football team. But most people say that, Elko's their coach now. That, Elko is a national championship winning coach if he has the talent, but he just can't recruit like most coaches. So if he's going to win one at all, he better either hire a recruiting coordinator or hurry up and win one now while he has the, previous coaching staff's players. He really can't recruit like most great head coaches. They've got them at 10-2, best case scenario, and 7-5, worst case scenario. Texas Tech is 12-0, and they're projected to win 11.5 games, and their worst case scenario is 9-3. Then we got Indiana, 12-0 and 9-3. Oklahoma, Best case scenario, 10-2. Worst case scenario is 6-6. And if you look at Venables' overall record there, it's not that impressive. So, was last year an anomaly, or, was last year going to become the new norm? Because if this CBS projection is correct and they go 6-6, Venables will be on the hot seat going into next year, because Oklahoma's not going to tolerate 6-6, and he's had more records close to that than he's had close to 10 wins. He's only averaging, I think, like 7.5 wins a year so far at Oklahoma, and that's just not good enough. In Norman, we have USC 11-1, best case 7-5, worst case. USC's problem is they never have a defense, and they have finally moved on from the previous coordinator on defense, so maybe their defense will finally improve. But USC can score like crazy. They just can't stop anybody. BYU 11-1 and 8-4, worst case scenario. And then Miami, they're one of the teams that their best and worst are pretty close together. Their best case scenario is 12-0, and worst case scenario is 10-2. So CBS thinks that even if the Canes worse, they're still going to win 10 games. I may have to do a season preview on them just to see if it is possible that they can be worse than 10-2. I don't think it is, because they've been really good the last couple of years, and then they're bringing in Duke's transfer quarterback Darian Mensah. So I could easily see Miami's worst case scenario being 10-2. And we have LSU 11-1 and 8-4. Alabama 11-1 and 7-5. Louisville 11-1 and 7-5. Missouri 9-3, and their worst case scenario is 5-7. So Missouri would go from being a top 20 team to having a losing record. Utah 10-2 and 7-5. Washington 11-1 and 7-5. Ole Miss 11-1 and 7-5. And I think what holds Ole Miss back is, nobody knows yet how good or bad of a coach Pete Golding can be. You might have just as good of a team talent-wise as you had last year, but if Pete Golding can't coach, it does no good. But really, right now, we're all left wondering, because we don't know. Then you have Houston at 11-1 and 8-4. Penn State 11-1 and 7-5, and I did my early season preview on Penn State one day last week, and I picked them to go 9-3. I've also did one on LSU, and I picked them to go 10-2. I've also did one on Florida State, who is not ranked, and I picked them to go 6-6. That's the 3 videos I've did so far on predicting teams' records as we head into the 2026 college football season. Number 23, SMU 11-1 and 7-5. Number 24, Virginia Tech 10-2 and 6-6. Hey there, Cash. Glad to have you here. And ranked number 25 is South Carolina 10-2 and 4-8. So a 6-game difference for the Gamecocks from best case scenario to worst case scenario. And I may have a preview on them too, because I've already seen their schedule. I didn't do a preview on it on the channel, but I glanced at it personally just myself. And even if everything goes their way and everything goes right, which in football never happens, something always goes against you. But even if everything goes their way and they get all the breaks in the world, I don't see how the Gamecocks win 10 games. I just don't see it. I don't see them winning more than 8. And that's if they have a good season. So CBS is going out on a stretch to say the Gamecocks could go 10-2. I just don't see it. But it's hard for me to believe that you've got them, even though being ranked 25th ain't saying much. I mean, you got to rank 25 teams. But if you think they're bad enough to go 4-8, I don't think they should be ranked. Now, granted, they're somewhere between that. They're not 4-8 bad, but they're not 10-2 good. They're probably a 7-win team, 6-win team maybe. But if you think a team is bad enough to where if they don't catch the breaks, they're going 4-8, they shouldn't be ranked. That's just my opinion. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. How big is the average courtroom? It's trial size. And that does it for today, Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family